How did practice go today?
I thought it was good. Pretty spirited practice and reasonably polished for a Tuesday, you know, where you're installing stuff. But overall, I thought it was pretty good.
What has Liam Ryan done to kind of emerge at the left guard spot this past spring? It had been mainly Josh, or I guess in the fall. It's been Josh in the spring, and then Liam's kind of taken over in the fall.
Well, the one thing was he got bigger and stronger, so he doesn't get slung around as much. So between size and strength, I thought that was huge. And then as a result of that, then his technique doesn't break down, and so his technique's improved, you know. And so there's kind of a balance in catch-22. I mean, if you're smaller and weaker, your technique will break down, but then also, so was it because he got bigger and stronger, but I think also just sharper and more refined as far as what he does.
I know that the cohesion of the O-line was kind of a problem at times last year. Do you feel like this group is cohesive without, I know you haven't seen them against an opponent yet, but does it seem like a pretty cohesive group?
Yeah, we're getting there. Still have a ways to go, but I think we're making progress, and I think we did quite a lot starting in spring.
Mike, have you ever been struck by the contrast in temperament between your new DC and your old one?
A little. I would say, let me think about the ones I've had a bunch. I'd say Clay's is more characteristic of most of them, you know. And then Grinch was a lot like some of the position coaches, you know, more fiery and more vocal. But I'd have to say I've had more that are like Clay's than like, you know, everybody's got to do it their own way. If they go out of character, I think it's not as good.
Players are such creatures of habit. Is it a little bit of an adjustment for the defensive guys that have been around?
It hasn't seemed to be. It hasn't seemed to be. The schemes are very similar. Of course, you know, with that said, Tracy's been running this stuff for a couple of decades, so, you know.
You guys probably aren't going to be naming a starter until the Wyoming game is one of those reasons. Why? Because you don't want to give Wyoming any sort of opportunity to prepare for one of them?
That, why should we tell them anyway? Plus, we want 100% attendance at this game, so everybody has to stay tuned and make sure they're there to see it unfold.
Yeah, I think you talked this morning on the conference call about playing Laramie High School as a high schooler. Can you give us some more detail about the game? I think you said you
well,
with Cody.
It was written up in Sports Illustrated, and one of the great high school coaches of all time was a guy named John Detai at Laramie High School. At the time, was the winningest high school coach in the country. He got later years he got passed up, but and it was his last game. I mean, it was his last game, so it was in Cody. It was a bitter cold day, like, I don't know, 10 degrees. And then, anyway, triple overtime later, the Cody Broncs were state champs, so it was a good deal.
What position were you playing back then?
I played receiver.
Any notable?
Sometimes outside linebacker.
Any notable stats from that game?
No, specialty. I played on special teams. I was a sophomore. I played on special teams.
And that game was in Laramie, or was
no, it was in Cody. Okay. They switched it. Back then, Cody was the smallest school in the biggest classification, and there was quite a contrast to it because in Wyoming, you know, the oil boom and all the coal and whatnot, some towns would grow and shrink, and then so in order for everybody to play somebody, we were the littlest school, so it was quite an achievement. And then hang on, so then well, at any rate, it was basically half the state was one district, the other half was the other, and so then you know, you'd fight it out, and then it rotated whether you were in at your home place or whether you were at the other guys. So sophomore year, state championship was at our place versus Laramie. Junior year, it was in Cheyenne versus Cheyenne Central.
How was the game won? Do you remember that part of it?
In Cody, I can't remember exactly. I'm going to say, I don't know this exactly. There's a high probability of it, though. There's a high probability that Rob Russell ran off tackle and scored. There's a high probability of that. He's our running back. He's one of the better ones in the state. and there's a reasonably high probability that that was the case.